Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a big one to discuss today. So, it went up in the, I believe, weekly newsletter, or it was the weekly bits, but Bushiroad shared a sort of 2020 product release schedule for the English version. So this is a pretty interesting schedule. It feels a little bit cramped in some areas, and particularly 1 month, but it is something along the lines of what we expected. Maybe a little bit faster than I expected personally, but it's kind of along the lines that I expected. So let's break down what we have in this schedule and what this means and why I think they're going at this certain pace and stuff like that. First things we have to consider, of course, Bermuda 19, the big virus that we have to say it as now, has kind of come up. And of course, there was a big gap in releases from basically March to June, July? No, April to June, I would say. There was like a 2 or 3 month break of no releases simply due to the virus. Everything got kind of halted, they couldn't ship things out globally easily, and everything just got put to a stop. So maybe if it wasn't for that, this wouldn't be as hectic, and we would be going at like a certain pace to catch up rather than, having 3 releases in October, one of them not even being part of this visual. But that's just the situation, that's just what it is. We can't really do much about that. But, that's just something to keep in mind. And with that, it's also important to think about the fact that it really feels like they're trying to catch up to JP a little bit here, because there was before only like a 5 to 6 week break between releases, and then it got opened up to like over 2 months, I want to say, because almost 3 months actually, wow, because of the virus. And so basically now they're trying to kind of play catch up, which is both okay and also a little bit alarming in some ways, but I mean, that's just how it is. So let's take a look at what we have. So August, the month that's coming up right around the corner, we have at the very beginning, in the first week of August, the release of Premium Collection with all strides for every single clan, as well as effect criticals and some Cray Elementals, that do change up the premium format quite a lot and is a great entry point for premium players. That's going to be coming out in the start of August together with Festival Collection. Festival Collection is a reprint set that has very essential key reprints for all 24 clans, including Draw Perfect Guards, as well as like key cards for most clans as well. Well, for every clan, but not every clan got the best cards as reprints, let's put it that way. Then, September, we have the best set printed in a long time, which is Silver Dust Blaze, I believe it's called in English. So this is VBT08, includes support for Oracle Think Tank with Susanoo, Kagero with the Cross, as well as Blademaster Soin, as well as Dimension Police with Grand Gallop, as well as, well, the triple rare, but very important triple rare Black, and Link Joker with Messiahs, which is going to be the deck of the set, arguably. So that's going to be very exciting. That comes out in the first week, on the 4th of September, I believe. So far, kind of have 1 month spacing. Then we get into October. First things first, there is one thing not pictured on this release schedule already, which is the Majesty Lord Blaster special set. So the special series 06 Majesty Lord Blaster comes out on October 2nd, and that's a very, they already confirmed this a while ago too, so it's not like we don't know about this, so I don't know why it's being just not shown on the schedule. I guess they just forgot. Intern Kun probably just forgot. But, so that's that. So that comes out on the start of October. Then we have Butterfly the Moonlight. So Butterfly the Moonlight is the 9th booster set that you see here. Also comes out on October 2nd. So literally the 2nd day of October. And that will be on the same day as the MLB special set. The Butterfly the Moonlight comes out in JP this week that I'm releasing this video. And it contains support for Murakumo with Yasuye, Pale Moon with Silverthorns as well as Harry, Dark Regulars with Charlotte, as well as Grand Blue with Night Rose and 7 Seas as a budget archetype. So that set will be pretty meta defining as well. We don't know to which extent yet because it's not out at the time of making this, but it's still going to be pretty exciting. But then they're immediately jumping to Phantom Dragon Aeon, or Eon, which releases on the 30th of October. So this is basically a 1 month break, which is nice, but it's, it's like, yeah, it's almost, it's the usual, instead of being the usual 5 or 6 weeks, it's like 4 weeks break to Phantom Dragon Aeon. And Phantom Dragon Aeon has support for Shadow Paladin with both Luard and Phantom Blaster Overlord, and then for Tachikaze with Gaia, Spike Brothers with Rising, and then Mega Colony with Gridora. So this will be a pretty hype set for a lot of people, for Shadow mains, Gridora lovers, Gaia lovers, all that stuff. So that's going to be a pretty big set as well. So for people that play, for example, Grand Blue and Shadows, God, or if you play worse, Pale Moon and Shadows, that's terrible, because you have Pale Moon gets 2 builds, 2 VRs, so it's going to be pretty expensive, and then you have 2 VRs of Luard and Phantom Blaster Overlord, so it's like, like this is a bit problematic for us, because like myself and a lot of other people, we really love G, and I'm like super hyped about all these G-era units, sorry, not G units, but G-era units coming back to the game. But it's like when they rush through it like this, we don't even have that much time to enjoy it, because I'm assuming in February they're trying to queue up for Overdress already, so it's just like, I mean, I appreciate it, but we could take our time a little bit, you know, maybe get a second wave. I wouldn't mind seeing a Gear Groovy for Chronojet, for example, but I mean, it feels like we're just gonna blast through this and move on to the next thing. But I mean, that's completely fine. Like, I'm excited for the next thing, whatever the next thing is, but it's just also a bit of a, like, unfortunate thing that we don't really have tournaments as well. Right now, like, we have the shop circuit, but no BCS, so it's like all of our favorites are coming back, but we don't get to use them in super competitive settings. But that was like gonna be a reality regardless. That's just the state of the world right now, so you can't do anything about that. So it's like whatever. But I mean, it's just weird that they're like pushing through it so fast. So some people are finding it a problem that October is this packed, which I completely understand. I also think it's a little bit yikes. Then we move on to November. Now here, I believe for November, we don't actually know the release date yet. So, Heavenly Storm of the Blue Cavalry is V-Booster Set 11. Releases on September 25th, and we get this in November. I'm assuming also around like November 20th, I would estimate, because they're definitely doing at least a 4-week break between these. So this will have support for Aquaforce. Aquaforce will have 1 VR, which is just going to be Lambros. Then Nubatama, which will receive Shiranui Oboro, which is the dominate Nubatama archetype. Then Nova Grappler gets Victor, which we haven't seen the art of yet at the time of making this. If it has been shown at the time of editing this, though, I will edit it in. And then Great Nature gets 2 VRs with both Isabelle as well as Big Belly, which is a pretty interesting move. So that set, for people like me that love Victor, important. But for quite a few people that don't play these clans, of course, they can skip on it. Just like any set, of course. If you don't play the clans, you can skip on it. Then we move on to December, which is Radiant Divine Lightning, or, Lightning, which is releasing October 30th in Japan. So I'm assuming somewhere like December 20th, 20-something, 30 maybe. So towards the end of December, I would expect this, you know, maybe like December 20-something, like whatever the Friday falls on, to like make it a perfect holiday product. That would be pretty smart from Bushiroad to make it just before Christmas, so that, you know, you can buy this for little Timmy and Jimmy as Christmas presents. So this will of course have support for Angel Feather with Gavrail, and Go Paladin with both Gurgwit just Gurgwit. Genesis has that Anif Eos Dragon, the Astral Poet, as well as Fenrir, and then Narukami has Vanquisher Full Bronto. That will be pretty cool as well. So December is going to be a pretty hype set as well. So we're running through all these releases, and it's, you know, a lot of cool stuff to take a look at. Then we move on to January, and here people see Special Series Royal Paladin, and, you know, they see that MLB isn't on this, so they're like, what the hell? MLB got delayed to January? No way! It's not. They announced one more Special Series, if you didn't see the JP announcement, which is the Daigo set. So that will have Sanctuary Guard Dragon in it, and that's going to be quite hype. So we're probably can assume like wherever in January, like probably mid to end of January. It's not a booster set, so they don't have to wait with it. They can release it kind of wherever. But for Royal Means, of course, it's going to be a very exciting time. Sanctuary Guard Dragon probably going to be very good, I would assume so. And then, of course, the final pack for this kind of wave is going to be Bermuda. So we haven't seen any visuals of this set yet, but we can assume it's going to be like Loris and maybe even Ange, I would assume, maybe like Olivia. So like the whole Melody archetype, I would assume, would kind of make their way into here, and, you know, maybe even more. Maybe we even see some like Prisms come back or stuff like that. That'll be pretty cool. I think they'll just try to like push as much as they want to with it, but probably not remake too many old archetypes that they already supported, like Revere, but more so do the G stuff and maybe the Break Ride stuff like Prisms. So we'll see what they decide to do with it. But of course, the Bermuda set usually is quite meta-defining. Bermudas, as of late, are very, very strong, and so I assume that this will also be something along the same lines. But then the question is, what comes after this? You know, why did they cut off in January? And I think the obvious answer, I mean, they announced Overdress as the next generation of Vanguard, the next series of Vanguard, and I'm assuming, you know, that is supposed to, like, this schedule goes up to December in JP, so it ends in December with the Bermuda Booster and the Daigo Special Series, but For us, it ends in January, so we're gonna have like a 1 month gap between JP and English, and I'm assuming that after this is gonna be the beginning of Overdress. So probably like 3 new trial decks for the new generation, plus 1 booster pack is what I expect. And then they're probably gonna do a similar thing where it's like booster set, maybe extra booster, and then again like a booster set with some trial decks or a trial deck, and then just gonna like push out some clients with trial decks, push out some clients with booster sets, new mechanic. We're gonna fit in a premium collection somewhere in there next year as well, and it's just gonna be the same kind of like process. And then it's gonna be new game mechanic, probably new rule set, but I'll keep my kind of like expectations and speculations about Overdress for another video. But that's just what's probably coming up after that. I'm really expecting that after this January block, we're gonna basically just go on to Overdress. I don't think they're gonna go like, okay, wave 2 of G, so you can get, you know, like basically just another, I don't know, like Overlord Rebirth or something, you know, or like Overlord, the Stride one, or the Legends could also come back, you know. I don't think they're gonna go that route. I don't think they're gonna go like G second wave, you know, like Gavriel Prim and like Gear Groovy and all that stuff. I don't think they're gonna go that route. I think they're just gonna be like, okay, G fans, sorry you didn't get, you know, more than a year to, not even a year, to enjoy your remakes, but we're gonna move on to the next thing. So, but maybe what they can do is, if you guys remember in G, when G came about, they were still giving old support to old units throughout the beginning of like G, the first half of G almost. So like, you know, the Cross and like all that stuff coming out, like the Vermilion Legion and stuff like that. So I could see them like doing stuff like, you know, they print, for example, like the new stuff, the new units and stuff like that, but then like maybe 1 or 2 of the triple rares is like dedicated to like the G stuff, so we get like another, I don't know, Luard or something, or Gear Groovy or whatever, just like as a random throw-in into the pack on top of that whenever those clans are supported in the next series. That could be a thing. They did that in G. We can, you know, we can always expect them to follow path dependence and just, you know, kind of repeat the same things they did in the past, but they might stray away from it and just say, okay, G fans, you enjoyed your wave of nostalgia, even though it was pretty short. You enjoy a longer one in Zero, and that's kind of it for the day. So yeah, this could go in many routes, but that's kind of what I expect. So overall, what do I think? I mean, it's hyped that we're getting all these packs a little bit fast for my liking. It reminds me of end of G, when, remember, GBT 14 came out. It came out in February in Japan, and then 1 week after the Japanese release, we had our sneak peek for the set. And then the week after that, we had the release of the set. So we had a 2-week break between release and the Japanese release and the global release. And that was insane. That was like the fastest we've ever had in terms of that. Outside of like Bermuda boosters coming out in English before Japanese. That was very, very unique as well. But yeah, so that's something pretty exciting. But that's kind of it, I guess. But I wonder if they're going to try to synchronize releases for JP in English for Overdress. I kind of doubt it at this point, but they're really trying to minimize the gap again, just like they did with the V series when that came out, and also with G when it started out. I think they also tried to, or at least at some point in G, they really, really brought them close. So they could just be doing that again. So yeah, I guess on that note, that's basically it for today's video and for my discussion part as well. Hope you guys enjoyed it, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.